Welcome to our second Puree training video. First, let's begin with a review of the 5 steps to making a quality puree. Start with quality ingredients and our Webtrition recipes. Quality ingredients means not using leftovers to make pureed food items. Step 2 is in a food processor or Vitamix blender, puree the food with hot broth, gravy, or milk. Do not use water. Scrape down the sides of the bowl frequently. Step 3 is to force the puree through a fine mesh sieve or a tammy to remove lumps, bits, and fibers. Step 4 is to reheat hot food purees to 165 degrees and chill cold food purees to a maximum of 40 degrees. And the last step is to taste and correct the seasoning with salt and white pepper only. So how do you know if your finished puree is the right texture? IDSI, the International Dysphagia Diet Standardization Initiative, has developed 4 critical tests to run on all your purees, hot or cold. The first critical test is appearance. The puree should have no lumps, bits, fibers, or skin on top. There are 4 other tests. We will talk about each of them and then see a video of them in action. The fork drip test means that the food sits in a mound above the fork without dripping or flowing continuously through. A small amount may sit in a tail below the fork. The spoon tilt test means that the puree holds its shape on the spoon. It may slump or spread slowly on the plate, but should not run quickly or easily. It should slide off the spoon in a clump, leaving little residue behind. It should not be sticky or gloopy. The fork pressure test means that the tines of the fork leave a clear pattern on the surface of the puree, or the food may briefly retain the indentation marks of the fork when it is pressed into it. And the last is the finger test, to be used when the other tests are not available. If you can hold a sample of the puree between your fingers without it dripping through continuously, and the food slides easily and smoothly with no sticky residue, then it is okay to serve. Now let's see some video of those tests. Thank you for all that you do to continue to provide safe and tasty foods for our most at-risk residents. We'll see you next time for the last in our series of trainings.